All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It's time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. Go ahead, give us a share. Today, we breaking down Mamdani, the equity clown, the Bears on the run, and Charlotte's clown show. Why blue cities keep losing. The Urban Conservative Podcast. It's about to go down right about now.
Welcome to the Urban Conservative Podcast, where we do not believe that avocado toast can save the planet or the world will end, because cars use gasoline. You won't hear that Wi-Fi is a basic human right, or that billionaires are secretly supervillains. Here, we do not believe that electric cars run on hopes and dreams. You also won't hear that anyone who disagrees with us is a fascist, or that socialism will make everyone rich. You won't be gender affirmed or offered any opportunity to share your preferred pronouns. If this causes you any discomfort, please rest assured that we couldn't possibly care less. For everyone else, thank you, and please stand by.
My fellow Americans, it's time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. This is without a doubt the best podcast on the internet. It's about to go down here on the Urban Conservative.
3, 2, 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's good? It's your boy Abdul Ali. Time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. Got to give a shout out to everybody that supports what we do here at the Urban Conservative. Our mission is to share conservative values and principles, as well as the benefits of conservative policies to urban communities across this great nation of ours. How do we do that? Via this podcast, and we be out in them streets. I also got to give a massive shout out to our friends and our partners over at the Messenger Papers. If you live on Eastern Long Island, check out the Messenger Papers at messengerpapers.com for all your local sports, local news, island stuff. Big shouts out to my twin brother, Raheem, architect Soto, one half of the TUC Twins, also happens to be the publisher of the Messenger Papers. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to jump right in. All right. First up, New York City Mayor Zohran the Moron Mamdani. The DSA socialist has fully slid into his first ever citywide, quote, preliminary citywide racial equity plan. It's got 200 goals, 800 strategies, 600 indicators. It is basically a bureaucratic monster forcing every major city agency to view the whole operation through a racial equity lens. Now, the one thing that I can't get out of my head is every time I see Mamdani or I hear him talking, this is the vision that I get in Mamdani. You know, failure to bench press, the world famous bench press fail. So 7 big domains: kids and families, the economy, housing, infrastructure, health, safety, the whole kitchen sink. They're going to measure success by skin color quotas now. Pay equity, racially balanced. Anti-racism training, absolutely mandatory. Data collection on everything from garbage routes to public housing waitlist, absolutely. And they tied it to that new, what they call true cost of living report, showing 62% of New Yorkers, that's over 5 million people, can't afford the city. Hispanics at 77%. Black folks at 65%. Real struggle, real numbers. But instead of out in the taxes, dealing with taxes, cutting that lower to increase revenue, instead of building more housing or fixing the subway that moves slower than my grandma at a buffet, Mamdani says the fix is making affordability about race. Every delayed train, every pothole, every empty storefront now gets audited for systemic racism. All right. Essentially, this dude has turned New York into a giant DEI theme park, is basically what you got. Imagine the MTA boss in a meeting. The second train is late again. Quick, run the melanin audit. Are the delays hitting the right zip codes? The city's already starting at a massive deficit. Businesses are leaving. Crime is still wild. Migrants overloading shelters. But sure, let's go ahead and hire $200,000 consultants to make sure the bodega line's racially balanced. Now, if you know anything about how this stuff works, it's not new. Seattle poured millions into their race and social justice, and the result? Crime exploded, businesses boarded up, downtown Seattle looking like a zombie flick, San Francisco's equity push in housing and schools, homelessness apocalypse so bad, even tech bros said I'm out. Minneapolis, post-2020, with defund plus equity overlays. Basically turned Minneapolis into a crime lab, and black and brown neighborhoods are always hit the hardest. So Mamdani's plan is basically the same script, but on a bigger stage, 30 days public feedback before the final version. Bet half the comments going to be like this. This is why I'm moving to Texas. I'm headed to North Carolina. Trump DOJ is already on it, though. Now, you got to give him credit. Assistant AG Harmeet Dillon called it a, quote, fishy and possibly illegal. Okay? Now, if we're being real, this is really reverse discrimination at its finest. It's discrimination. Let's just call it what it is. And newsflash, you don't fix broken streets by making the potholes racially aware, my guy. You fix them by finding competent people who care about results, not skin tone checkboxes. Equity clowns are going to keep losing, and this one is headed for court before summer. Remember, you heard it here first, right? Speaking of losing, we're going to get into the Chicago story right after this quick break here on The Urban Conservative. Don't go nowhere, y'all.
Are you tired of thinking for yourself? Sick of facts getting in the way of your feelings? Introducing Democratinol, the revolutionary pill that turns you into a full-blown, blissfully ignorant liberal. Bob used to think for himself, believe in hard work and personal responsibility, but then he tried Democratinol. Now he thinks the government should pay for everyone's unicorn rides. Climate change? It's real because feelings. And taxes? The more the merrier, as long as it's not his money. Democratinol works fast. Side effects may include sudden urges to virtue signal on social media, believing everything on CNN is gospel, forgetting how math works, especially budgets, compulsory recycling of other people's ideas, and in rare cases, voting for policies that sound nice but bankrupt the country. Ask your doctor if Democratinol is right for you, or don't. Who needs doctors when you have vibes? Not approved by the FDA because facts are oppressive. Available at your local echo chain.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. You're back on the Urban Conservative Podcast. Yours truly, Abdul Ali. As always, jump in the comments. Let us know where you're calling, watching, or listening from. With that said, Chicago Bears, the wokest mayor in America, quite possibly Brandon Johnson. The Chicago Bears, legendary, about to decide if their new stadium fate in the next few weeks, Arlington Heights, Illinois, or Hammond, Indiana. Now, Adam Schefter dropped a little tea. He said if Illinois doesn't pass legislation and quickly, the Bears are Indiana bound. They own the land in Arlington, but they've been dreaming of a dome station, something where people can go and not be freezing and enjoy the games. But politicians in Illinois have been dragging their feet. Mayor Brandon Johnson is sweating like a pig in a blanket, claiming that they can't leave. The Chicago Bears belong in Chicago. And the governor isn't much help either. Now, why are the Chicago Bears about to bounce, you might ask? Well, high taxes, sky-high crime, woke leadership is treating the businesses like walking ATMs. Soldier Field has been trash for decades. Okay. Now imagine being so bad at running a city that even the Chicago Bears, one of the toughest football teams in history, is like, nah, we good on this. We got to be out. Okay. Now think about this, though. The state of Indiana is moving like lightning. Indiana's got real incentives, no endless red tape, no forced diversity quotas on the crew. And just build it and they will come, literally, is the mentality of the folks in Indiana. Now, serious point here. This is billions of dollars in jobs, in tourism, in tax revenue that's about to leave the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. Chicago already lost people and businesses because of their progressive policies like defund the police, soft on crime, tax the rich until they move, turn the second city into the last choice city. And Bears fans, truthfully, y'all deserve better, especially since you spend the kind of money that you spend to be a football fan. Tickets ain't cheap. The memorabilia ain't cheap. Lord knows the beer in those stadiums is not cheap. So free markets always win. Free markets are always going to speak the loudest. And when government gets too heavy, the market will dictate that. When government gets in the way, the market will dictate that. Okay. Now, we're going to take one more quick break on today's show. And speaking of cities that can't get it right, we're going to bring it on home to where I'm at here in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. Y'all don't go nowhere. We'll be right back here on the Urban Conservative Podcast. Don't move. Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're back on the Urban Conservative Podcast. Yours truly, Abdul Ali, rocking out with you. And look, I just got to take a minute to talk about Charlotte government, city council, Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office, the whole operation, the whole squad is straight up the worst, okay? Now, why do I say that? Because they have been playing catch and release with the worst criminals while calling themselves welcoming. Okay, we had Operation Charlotte's Web last November. DHS and ICE swooped in, arrested over 130 criminal illegal aliens in one weekend. We're talking gang members. We're talking rapists. We're talking domestic abusers. Literally the worst of the worst. So why federal agents had to do that work is because Charlotte has been letting over 1,400 ICE detainers collect dust. Not officially a sanctuary city, thanks to state law, but they doing the limbo, limiting cooperation, protecting data, making it harder for ICE. They certified themselves as a, quote, welcoming city, code for we gonna look the other way while you terrorize the block, illegal guys. That's basically what that is. Now, you got to admit, Sheriff McFadden, and we give credit here. Okay, Sheriff McFadden did the right thing by hiring Ricky Robbins as his chief deputy. Might have been a popularity move to make sure he can get reelected by taking Ricky Robbins out of the equation, but that's another story for another day. So if y'all remember the light rail stabbing that occurred, innocent woman murdered by a career criminal, multiple prior arrests, domestic violence, robbery, the works. Judge let him out on a, quote, promise to appear, and then months later you have a female dead on the train. And quite frankly, if we're being real, that blood is on the hands of soft on crime policies, not just from the city of Charlotte, but from people like Roy Cooper. Now it gets even wilder because ICE had to publicly call out the mayor for sanctuary style vibes. They released a child rapist and a kidnapper back onto North Carolina streets. Detainer ignored. PDF files getting the red carpet while families triple lock their doors is essentially what's happening. So Charlotte government is essentially treating ICE detainers like group chat invites. Maybe I'll jump in, maybe I won't. Seen it, but we good. Send them back to the streets, basically. Meanwhile, they dropped millions on a fancy PR campaign to, quote, improve public safety perception. You heard me right. Perception. The perception is you getting felons to roam free while Black and Hispanic neighborhoods catch the most bullets and break-ins. And if we're being real, that is not compassion. That's negligence with a side of how we going to spend this on the next town hall. City council accused of backroom deals, zero transparency, sheriff getting dragged for failing at government 101, federal agents had to roll in because locals too busy playing politics with public safety, and the result, is criminals back on the block terrorizing everyday folks. And people, this ain't protecting immigrants. This is protecting predators. You don't keep communities safe by shielding the ones that are taking advantage of kids and stabbing folks on the light rail. You protect everybody by locking up the folks that need to be locked up. And I'm glad that the Charlotte Republicans, Mecklenburg GOP is calling it out loud, because this is the pattern of ideology over safety in the Queen City nationally is turning into a punchline. But with that, fam, that's the show. Mamdani's equity experiment already falling before the ink gets dry. Same tired script as Seattle, San Fran, and Minneapolis. Bears dipping out of Chicago's mess. Charlotte government proving why welcome often means watch your back. Blue cities keep on chasing race quotas over results, criminals over citizens, ideology over economics, then act shocked when the people's teams and the money bounces. If you're tired of the clown show, hit subscribe, drop a comment, let us know what city we should talk about next. Share this with your friends in the group chat, because the truth don't care about your feelings. I'm Abdul Ali. This has been the Urban Conservative Podcast. Peace and love, y'all.